So today, pretty excited. It's time to harvest my Nisai Hi Utsuri pond. These were fish that arrived with me back in January at a small 12 to 15 cm tosai. I've been raising them ever since. The results have been pretty phenomenal, and I'm excited to get in there and see exactly what we've got, what the results have been. I'm going to show you some of the fish. There'll be some footage of the actual selection, show you the few pieces that get kept behind for further raising and what's going to be offered for sale pretty shortly. I think it'd be interesting to give you some background information on the batch of fish and the pond as well, just so as you're watching it'll give you an idea of what results have been achieved, and just to basically show you that you can also achieve these results with the right kind of strategy and implementation. So yeah, details on the pond. It's one of my larger ponds that I've used. It's a 3,500 gallon system, which is about 16,000 litres. It's fed by a single bottom drain to a drum filter, then onto a custom built fluid bed that houses 500 litres of K1. There's 2 dedicated air pumps, one driving the fluid bed, one into the pond. A key point here I'd like to sort of get across is that the turnover rate of this system is approximately once every 2 hours. To be honest with you, that's another video and topic altogether. But yeah, just something I want to get out there. It's quite a basic system. There's no big heavy pumps, no big heavy electric usage. Drum filters are modern and quite advanced, yes, but we're not doing anything particularly special with the pond overall. It is heated. That is an essential part of raising koi. The water's been at 25 degrees practically since the fish arrived back in late January. So yeah, there's an overview of the system itself. Onto the batch of fish. These are bred by Marusei, who's also known as Hirasawa. Marusei is the farm name, the brand name. Yoshiyuki Hirasawa is the actual breeder's name. He'll flip between the two, you'll see both names used, it's all the same place. Hi Utsuri is a popular production at his farm. The quality of them is really nice. It's actually one of my preferred farms to go to for those fish. They tend to keep really clean as they start growing, and yeah, I managed to source these back in 2020. There'd been a bit of a shortage of them that year and big demand, so we decided to set a pond up for them and yeah, get them moving. Now these arrived back on the 26th of January, and there was 980 pieces actually initially went into the pond at a size of 12 to 15 centimetres. They obviously went through a quarantine period, and after that we did the first selection. I think it was about 5 weeks after did the first selection, and pretty much halved the stocking level down to about 500 or so in there at that time. From then on, the growing program started, so we're pretty much getting to about end of February there when we really started to push them and bring them on. From that moment on, these things have just flown. They've really responded well to the regime that we put in place. The size has been incredible. The development of the belly, the body volume, everything's been pretty impressive. The food that we've used throughout, as with everything on site this year, has been sake ikari. I chose a diet of 50% growth and 50% colour for this particular batch of fish. Hi Utsuri, for many people, all about the beni. The one big thing is people's always asking for is the deep, rich, intense red. Ultimately, this isn't something that you can just rush. You know, it's something that comes over time. But colour food is essential in aiding that process and actually allowing the colour to become as good as it can be. Just being left to nature, it's probably never going to get there. So that's why I chose this mix. Grow food for the size and the volume, and the colour food to help bring the beni on. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's the system, that's the batch of fish. I think overall we've done 3 selections on this pond throughout the summer, going from that initial 980 fish down to the 60 pieces that currently reside in there. So yeah, I can't wait to get started. Honestly, these things look superb. So yeah, let's go and get the pond netted and see what's there. Look at that. Wow. Ooh. It's a bit of a beast. Wow.
What's your initial thoughts?
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Colour condition, look, stunning.
What's the weight in these?
These are, yeah, they're turning 18 months next month. So, you know, just kind of 17 and a half at the minute. Phenomenal size. It's just the body volume. Look at that. Incredible. Wow. Just superb. It's quite crazy the size these are at. The breeder doesn't even have, the breeder himself won't have these available at this size this autumn.
Does he usually supply them as any size those?
Yeah, he'll have them at 2-year-old. They're just generally nowhere near this condition, not with this body, not even this size. His sort of average size for his Nisai is 30 to 40 centimetres, so...
Is that because he's not trying to get them big?
Yeah, different methodology for growing them. It leads people thinking, to be honest with you, that they probably can't achieve them, you know, bigger sizes because they're not a big 2-year-old fish, but it's all just down to keeping technique. It's not what the fish is capable of, it's what the breeder's doing with it, so... Oh. Some power. We'll look to start getting them moved. Cheers, Andy. So here's the result. They look absolutely incredible. Skin's gleaming, Benny's in fantastic condition, Sumi's up well. Sumi's in great condition as well, to be honest. Size-wise, you can already see, I'm quite impressed. They're quite consistent. There is a difference. We've got smaller fish, kind of 42 cm. We've already had an absolute beast here at 49 cm already. So we did work quite throughout the selections. Size selection was always important because the smaller fish just tend to get dominated at feeding by the bigger ones. So we did tend to remove the smaller fish even if the quality was good. That's why we've ended up with a fairly consistent size average there. Body volumes, incredible, just superb. Like I've already mentioned, the actual size of these fish at Nisai now is not comparable to what the breeder will be harvesting this year. His average size is about 30 to 40 centimetres. We're already collecting in there at 42 to 49. It's great body, great condition. Just goes to show you can't always take what the breeder's putting out there, what his own lineage is even capable of. In this instance, we know this lineage can produce some big fish. Just size for age really comes down to the keeping environment and the keeping technique. Marusei as a farm, it's a huge operation. They don't particularly specialise in big Nisai, big Sanzai. They've just got koi of all sizes, ages, ranges. Great place, but in this instance, giving these an environment, really investing in them with the food, the conditions, the space, the results have been incredible. So we're going to get on now with selecting. We're going to the bowl in front of us. We're going to pop the fish that are being prepared for sale into. The fish that will be kept a little bit longer for more raising are going to go back in there, and then towards the end of the video we'll look at some of those in more detail. can see from this bowl here, 2 points really from all of these. I did actually set myself a personal challenge with these earlier in the year. I wanted to raise at least one piece to 50 centimetres. There has been a candidate which I've thought has been a likely one. It's actually in the bowl here. Absolutely huge, huge body, huge frame. And I don't know if we'll see that. It's exactly 50 centimetres. Oh, I'm over the moon.
What kind of size would you expect as standard on these?
In what way?
In terms of the food that you've been giving them, is that one that, I know that one's particular one stands out. How do the others compare?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, we're up to, again, one of the smaller ones there. Still hitting 41, so they're a fantastic average size. Really strong size for their age, they're great. So one thing I want to look at here, you might see, this fish is a great example. There's actually a couple. The Benny is a lot more intense than some of the other fish.
It's really vibrant there, isn't
Yeah,
it?
got it with that one, got it with this one here as well.
So will they all turn to that
Yeah,
vibrancy
now
over
the
time?
thing is that the other fish we'll get there, with these ones at the minute, these are likely, and I can feel it from my hand, male fish. And it's just a natural trait of males for the Benny to develop a lot more intense at a younger age. So opposed to something like this lump, more likely to be female, but it's got the same potential from the Benny. We can see again there's pigmentation in the scales still that's going to come out. It's going to take a little bit more time for that to layer up and develop. Awesome. Right, we've got to keep the big lump, haven't we?
No question on that one.
For a minute. Can see this fish is a good example. You might be looking at that, you know, the power in the body. Yeah, it looks nice, it's impressive, but this body's not actually very good. Probably almost borderline deformed. It's carrying a little bit too much weight in that area there, and the body itself's a little bit too short, which is why it's created so much height and so much volume. So although that might look impressive for a fish at this age and size, that's too much, and an indicator that, you know, much more growth beyond this point is probably going to be difficult.
Is there a particular reason for that?
It's just in the body conformation and setup. There's nothing more to it. If we look at the likes of this lump here, it's still got the power, but it's got a lot more length to the body, not quite as much height. More of it will come, more volume will come, but this has got the length to carry it a bit more evenly as well. So yeah, something to look out for. You don't want too much body volume too early. Get back to grading. So this is a fish just really to sort of demonstrate another sort of bone structure type issue. Now you can see it's grown phenomenally well, no doubt about it. It's 46 cm, so yeah, one of the bigger fish. My issue with this particular one is, you can probably see it, the head where the bone structure starts is just too small. You can see there's quite a sort of nip around that area, and it just tapers off quite strongly towards the mouth. So definitely a fish that can grow. It's already demonstrated that by the size it's at. It's on the bigger average. The problem is this type of bone structure doesn't look that desirable when the fish get a lot bigger, because what you're going to end up with is more mass here. As the volume of the body gets bigger and bigger, the head's just going to look smaller and smaller, and it's not particularly attractive. So when we talk about bone structure, it all starts with the head, and in this case it's just not good enough. Wow, do you think we'll get that on camera? Can we all see that? One scale's bigger.
What we're looking at exactly, or just the skeleton in general?
Yeah, it'll probably get it. So this is a common, well, it's not common, it's something that I think probably the majority of people overlook. More of a problem in single coloured fish like Karashigoi, Yamabuki for example, and incredibly important in them fish. But if we can just see here, yeah, scale alignment, this is what we're looking at with this fish. Big problem in single coloured fish such as Karashigoi for example, more important in them. In this example, it's quite rare, it's the first one I've seen, but you can just see there's one scale here that's substantially bigger than the others. And around it then that's caused some of the other scales to shrink in size and presence. So right now this become prominent. As that gets bigger, that's just going to become more and more prominent. So shame, absolutely great fish, but unfortunately now that one's going to have to be sold.
Is there a particular cause of that, or is it just
No,
as part of the growth and the quality?
Just there. It's not something we can change. I was actually planning on keeping that fish. It's a bit of a powerhouse, but unfortunately not now.
So with these particular koi, are there any common patterns that you tend to see, or is there no commonality at all in them?
The Utsuri pattern is kind of like this checkerboard type style. It's really, really desirable. You can get that, happy days, but that's not always what works. Sometimes on the bigger fish, you know, other styles of patterns play out really well. So it's desirable, but not essential. This was another one that was one of my contenders for 50 cm. Unfortunately, absolutely excruciating. It's about 49 and a half at a push.
Round it up.
Great fish.
Is there a particular number that you're looking to keep, or is it literally based on the quality of the fish?
Just what I see on the quality, that's it. I've got these two fish just to sort of demonstrate something about colour quality with Hi Utsuri. Now, I've already mentioned about the females having the slightly softer colour, males more intense. But generally across the board, good quality with Hi Utsuri, has got quite an intensity to it. Now, if we look at these two, you can see there's quite a difference in hue with the Benny already. Gender and everything aside, this example's sort of going to show what I'm seeing here in good colour quality, good potential in colour quality, and just generally what's going to be poor colour quality in the end. So with this one being the better example, you can see there's a richer colour. Now hopefully we can pick it up on the camera. You'll see these really thick red lines in the scale. The background colour itself's already quite dark. But these thick red lines is a big concentration of pigmentation in them cells waiting to disperse. That's going to spread out into the scale over time and make that colour thicker and thicker. The intensity of the red's going to pick up. 2 or 3 years down the line, you're going to get that really intense deep red that people are looking for. Now with this other example, we can see that there is very, very faint marks of pigmentation in the scales, but there's not a lot there at all. It's probably going to struggle to see that on the camera. That's how faint that they are. There's also quite a lot of, we can see sort of white in between the scales, especially further down the fish. That's where the colour's already stretching. So what we've got here actually is poor quality pigmentation from the very start. That as it's grown, it's already starting to look worse. Although there's some colour there, just as this fish grows in general, that's just going to be lost. So yeah, that's certainly a fish. There's no future potential in that. There's already some inconsistencies in the colour over the body as well. Everything you want to try and avoid in reality in a prospective purchase.
Is that something you could change if you feed it a particular food?
You're right. With colour food, you'll enhance it. You'll help bring the colour out, but all you can do is bring the colour out that's in the scale.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, in the instance of that example, the first fish, you would definitely improve that Benny with colour food. In the instance of the second fish, colour food is going to do very little for it. There's just no quality there. So, yeah. As I sort of knew we'd be planning to do a video and cover these fish in one way or another from the beginning, so I actually retained some of the original batch in a pond outside. So these were from the very first selection that I did at the end of February. You can see what they were basically. At that point, the stocking level in the pond was just around 550 pieces from what I can remember. And yeah, this is them. Really small fish. So yeah, as you can see, the development from start to finish has been incredible. When you bear in mind that these have been in sort of commercial stocking environments as well. For most of the growing season, there's been stocking levels being in the hundreds. It was only on the very last hurdle that it was reduced down to the remaining 60 pieces to be pushed through to the size that they currently are. It takes a lot of work, care and attention to produce results like this, but anybody can do it with the right strategy and regime in place. So yeah, on that note, we're going to take a look at some of the fish that are being kept now. Yeah, fantastic result. Right, so now we're going to have a look at some of the examples, some top examples from the harvest. Once again, I brought Steve in, our marketing manager, just to fire in some questions that might just help you guys out, or might be something, try and preempt and just change the conversation a little bit. These 4 pieces, some of the best for me, to be honest with you. I've put these 4 together because there's certain things I particularly want to look at. The first one that we've got here is my size champion.
This is the 50 centimetre?
Yeah, exactly 50 centimetres. I've achieved what I was looking to get done. Absolutely spot on. The body conformation of that fish is just out of this world. huge heads, great proportions all the way down to the peduncle. Certainly going to be a growing machine in future, no two ways about it. Nice big mouth. You can even just see amongst big fish here the power that it's got. So,
how much would you expect that to grow over the next few months?
Not necessarily over the next few months. Probably not a lot more. I mean, it's going to be due for a sort of winter break now. But that's a fish that can attain, up to 80 centimetres at least, quite easily. There's a Hi Utsuri. It's got a nice pattern, sort of nice checkerboards forming. There's sumi progression around this area.
So how
Just
would you
powerhouse?
How would you expect that sumi to develop further over time?
Yeah, it's tough with Hi Utsuri. You don't actually get that much development. The Marusei ones seem to do it a little bit more than others. You sort of get these pieces here that you can see slowly forming into sumi. Some will, some won't. It's hard to know with it, to be honest. But yeah, that fish is in there because it's the size champion. Its body's to be absolutely admired. Plenty to come from the Benny still. Just yeah, cracking fish. To move on, we'll flip to the smaller end of the scale. This fish is just not the biggest. I mean, we're coming in at 43 cm with that one.
Was this one of the smaller ones in the pond?
Yeah, I mean, we're 41 at the smaller end, so it's not bad. There could be several things. It's still a fish that can grow, no two ways about it. Obviously, but when it's in an environment with lumps such as this one and this one, it's always going to be a little bit more challenging. There's a pecking order, there's feeding dominance. It can be quite normal. The quality of that fish, though, is absolutely breathtaking. Already got really nice, deep Benny. There's still so much left in the scale to come as well. See there the red lines. The sumi pattern is stunning. We've got nice sumi kiwa forming, good sumi sashi as well. So we know there's a lot more thickness to come from the sumi as well as the Benny. Yeah, really clean Benny plate as well.
We've said about the intensity of the red. Does the intensity of the black increase over time as well?
Yeah, with these, I mean, it's Hi Utsuri. It's not always the easiest to read, but we can see on that fish, the faint black edge underneath where the sashi is. So there is sumi deep in the skin. This is just going to refine and get better and better. Really nice fish. Body line's good. It has got a good head. It's got a smaller bone structure than the others. You can clearly see that, but still a great fish. Going to grow well. Probably in an environment where it can have a more competitive chance, it would do better. But yeah, lovely. Pattern's stunning. Really stunning. We then got this fish. Once again, see very similar characteristics. Got really nice sort of kiwa forming on the sumi. The area is still developing on this side a little bit more, but on this side it's progressed really well. Good thickness and shine to the sumi. Lots more to come from the Benny. There's a lot happening with the sumi pattern on this side, but things like that at this age don't concern me. That's going to be what it's going to be. It's no good trying to read it or look into the future with that one. Lovely head pattern. Really powerful sort of bone structure and body frame. That one you can see it's a lot stockier. It's carrying quite a bit of weight in that shoulder region, but it carries it well, so that's not a concern.
Yeah, it's all in proportion, isn't
well,
it?
that's it. Yeah, that's what's important. Lovely fish. And then on to this last one, which, as I'm feeling it at the moment, it feels really rough around the gills and the cheeks, across the front of the fin there. So everything pointing towards that fish being a male, believe it or not. Not that it really looks any different to the others in the bowl. A couple of them I'm suspecting to be female. I'm leaning towards this being one of the best fish of the day. Male or female, I don't care. Just look at it. Look at the quality. Body shape is huge. It's got the best body of the batch, no doubt. Great head, great shoulders, power throughout. It's a stunning fish. The proportions are great. It's going to keep putting on size. I'm going to say something I've said before, quality is quality. Whether it's male, female, doesn't matter. The qualities of that fish are no different to any of the others in the bowl that could be female. So,
I know you've said before about hobbyists historically being interested in female koi rather than male.
yeah.
Is that something that you think's changing?
Not fast enough. In Japan, it's changing. They're getting a lot more males. There's a male division at the All Japan Koi Show and a lot of the bigger shows. Yeah, in my opinion, you know, out there, and we're starting to see breeders change their attitude towards it as well. More effort into raising males, which has been a lot of the problem in the past. On top of that, the lineages, bloodlines are improving, so male fish, the qualities across the spawn, male and female, are getting better and better all the time, which is nice to see. Yeah, and I think generally, maybe across Asia more, demand's growing for them. Certainly with the Koi show classifications for males being there more, there's a level to compete at, so naturally there's more interest for the males, which ultimately then, you know, drives the breeders to do more and popularity to grow. I think outside of Asia and Japan, though, in particular, we still haven't sort of clicked on to the male thing. A lot of ignorance towards them still. As the market stands at the minute, you know, you can pick up, in Japan especially, an equivalent quality male for sometimes a third of the price of the same quality female. Generally, in a concrete pond, smaller concrete ponds, they're going to keep a lot better than females that mature up. When they do, there can be problems with egg and other issues. Males, you never have that. Pigmentation, they generally look a lot more, you know, pretty, if you like, when they're younger. So a lot of pros to me, but certainly that one, if you're looking to build a collection of koi, you've not got really deep pockets to be buying top end females, you need to be buying males. That's that. In this instance, I will price that fish no differently to the females, and I look at it no differently to the females. Quality is quality. It's a top fish. It's joint probably best, possibly the best fish of the day. Yeah, stunning. I look forward to seeing what the future brings for that one. So I'm absolutely over the moon with the result from the harvest today. Yeah, I mean, we started off 12 to 15 cm. We're averaging 41 to 50 cm currently. Great body, great skin condition, great result. When you consider the environment the fish are being in, the size of the pond, pretty commercial sort of keeping conditions. There's been a lot going on. I've worked really hard this summer to get the most out of these fish. Pushed them, like I say, we've been through multiple selections, keep refining, taking the smaller fish away, the ones not quite showing the quality, to in the end be sat with 60 pretty, high level fish across the board. Yeah, I hope you've learned something. Again, trying to just show some of the fish that were rejected, why, and then highlight why some of the best fish have been kept. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed what you're seeing, it'd be awesome if you hit the subscribe button. And yeah, we'll be back again soon with more content.